Hey there guys, and welcome back to UnJaded Jade. So it's the night before my driving theory test and I literally haven't told anyone on social media, not because I don't trust you guys, but more because I don't want to go into it like with everyone being like, yeah, good luck Jade, go on, and quite frankly I don't think I'm gonna pass this first time. Basically, I don't know, I only booked my test about a week ago. Yeah, I guess I'm kind of taking this whole driving thing kind of slowly. It's not like my top priority. And I've been learning, I've been having one lesson a week since about December maybe? I don't know. And I haven't booked my theory and I literally just hadn't thought about theory like the whole time. So the other day I just decided I need to book it. And I don't know why, but I think I thought that it would just be majority common sense because that's what a lot of people say. So I was like, yeah, I'll give myself about a week, great, cool. And I also booked it for half term so that I would have a few days like prior to get stuff in my head. But here we are, I started doing the app a few days ago and there's like 15 sections and this has a perception and there's 140 pages of the highway code about road signs, and I feel like my brain is just exploding. Like, I got this thing, theory test, and it has tests in it, and I only like started doing them yesterday night because I hadn't even done all the sections until then, and I've just been so busy and hectic. But quite frankly, you know, it's cool if I fail first time. I'm like completely fine with it. I will kind of happily do it again. Although I lose like 20 quid, which is that's not too great. Also, I'm still in my running stuff because I went for a run earlier, like a jog. And I'm just lazy and I haven't taken it off yet. But anyway, I will update you on how the test goes tomorrow. So I'm just about to go to sleep and I'm wearing my retainer, sorry. But I just like opened my duvet and look what my mum left me. Lovely Jade, sleep well and good luck with your theory exam. Sorry I'm not there. We'll be thinking of you. Love you, Mum and Volker. Oh. Basically Mum and Volk went to Holland, went to the Netherlands to see my family very last minute, and because I'd already booked my theory test I couldn't go, and also I have like a lot of stuff to do, but I'm very jealous of the fact that they're currently seeing our family and I'm not. But hey ho, driving theory tomorrow. Who's the real winner? Also, how fashionable is my retainer? Hey guys, so it's the next day. It's 11 o'clock and somehow, by some luck, I passed. I managed to get 48 out of 50 on the test, which is like, what? Like what? And 61 out of 75 on hazard perception, so I passed. Great, it doesn't even matter the numbers, like whatever, but yeah. So yeah, I'm basically going to give you the lowdown of my experience and my test and like how it was set up and that kind of thing, and basically some advice if you are cramming or if you're just like generally learning the theory stuff for your own test. So yeah, hopefully I can help you out. So for me, the test was in a really random, kind of ugly looking building in the middle of nowhere in our like nearest city place. So we went there and all the staff were really like stern-faced, which I don't know, I didn't really get very like warm vibes off of them, but then I guess that's kind of their job, isn't it? So we walked up and I had to show my provisional license. Make sure you remember your provisional license because we got in the car to drive to the test centre and I basically forgot it and we had to go back and get it. So make sure you bring that, otherwise you will not be taking your test. And you basically go in and you put all your stuff in a locker and the only thing you can bring with you is your provisional license like into the room. You sit down, you have big headphones, they allow you to do a 15-minute practice test to like get used to the system. And they have like really confined little bits where you take the test, like with walls either side of you, like dividing barriers. And I didn't like the room at all. It was kind of stuffy, kind of made me feel a bit like like a bit headachy, but you know, it was alright. And then it was the theory test first, then the hazard perception, and afterwards they asked me to do some trial questions, so I also did those. But yeah, that was basically how it worked. My first tip, the biggest tip I can give you, is get the official DVLA apps. I think it's DVLA, let me have a look. DVSA, got it wrong, sorry. But here we go. These three apps are basically lifesavers. Yes, you have to pay, but it's only like £3 maybe, or £5 at the most. And it has a highway code, theory test, and HP practice, has perception practice. First piece of advice, don't bother with the highway code. I mean, I remember the first day that I basically realised I needed to do some prep, I looked at it, realised how many like pages it was, and it's just not really worth looking at. I think it's worth flicking through if you have extra time, but at the end of the day, you want to be focusing on theory test app. So go on the theory test app, here's what it looks like, great, and go on theory test for car drivers, and what you want to do is go on study, this study thing, and there are 14 sections. Literally just do every single section, okay? So here's what it looks like. Go through, do each section, do one, do it, done, okay? And in the sections it has like bullet points for certain things, and basically when you see a question on that topic, odds are these bullet points are going to be one of the multiple choice answers that you need to get. So yeah, go through each of the sections and make sure you do the little test at the end. I'm not even joking, so many questions from the app come up in the actual test. I'd say I knew the answers to about 40 out of 50 maybe, just because I had seen them before, or I had like a rough idea, that kind of thing. So yeah, as I say, I didn't really learn the theory in very much time. So any car journey or train journey I had, I would be on the app. I went to London twice in the last like 5 days or something, and all the time I was on like tubes or I was on like the overground trains, I would be on the app just getting through as many sections as possible. And I knew I couldn't do a proper theory test, like a practice proper one, before I'd done all those sections. So my priority was get through each section, get through all the little test bits of that section. So some of them are like 30 questions, one of them is like 137 questions, but just do your best, go through them all. And then for me, what I also did was, when I got a question wrong, I would screenshot the answer at the end in the review bit, just so that it was in my photos. And then today, on the test day, in the car to the test centre, I just went through all the ones I got wrong and sort of looked at like the right answer, just kind of jog my memory on those. I think it's also really important when you're on the study section to look up words you don't know. And I didn't really do this the first like 2 sections because I probably just couldn't be bothered, or I thought, you know, it's fine, I'll learn it later or whatever. But things for me, like contraflow system, I was like, I've never heard of that before, look that up. What else did I look up? I basically realised how little I knew about the road and how many signs I just had no idea what they meant. Clearway, I was like, I can guess, but didn't really know what that was. I also got the app, Know Your Traffic Signs app, and I thought it'd be a bit more interactive, but it wasn't really. It is just 142 pages of road signs, but it is so worth looking at. Like, look at that, great times, read through. Any you don't know, just make sure you know them. I mean, some are gonna come up more than others are. Motorway signs come up quite a lot. I'd say that the theory test is definitely priority. I actually didn't start hazard perception until yesterday because I'm stupid. So I spent like a good few hours yesterday doing hazard perception. Like, I timetabled my day because I knew I had so much to do. So I think first I looked up a video on how to do hazard perception. Like what they wanted, what they defined as a hazard is quite important. It's basically just anything that makes you slow down or need to change direction. So car braking in front of you, random kid on the road who turns his head as though he's gonna cross, like car coming up at a junction, like car putting their indicators on, things like that. The first, I think, 3 tests I did, I got 0 on every single one because I clicked too much. So definitely do your prep. Don't click too much, but I would still say click more than once per hazard at like different times. So if you see a developing hazard in the like distance, click. And then even if you think it would have registered your click, I'd say like a few seconds later as it's approaching, just click again, just in case. They have the hazard perception app, and you can basically practice lots of different like scenarios, like residential, motorway. I'd say motorway is a good one to like focus on. Basically I just did all of those, so I think that's like 14 on there, and there was a website which I'll insert here because I can't remember what it was, and they had so many example tests, and I just kept doing them until I was averaging like, I think I got around 60 average, like 59, 60 on quite a few tests. And the pass mark is 44 out of 75, I think. Yeah, out of 75. So just keep doing that, and I feel like hazard perception comes with practice, whereas theory is more learn it. Also with theory, just make sure you know the stupid, weird things like compressions, like CPR type thing. You need to know the distance that you need to like compress. I think it's 5 to 6 centimeters. Random like facts like that you can't really guess, you should know. Like in rain, your stopping distance increases by 2 times. In ice, it's 10 times. Things like that you just need to sort of know and you can't really guess. But all I can say is just do practice. Practice the questions over and over. Then I would get you some of these. Where is it? Here we go. Theory test questions. This booklet I think I picked up from, I want to say a petrol station, but I don't know if that's right. And it has 20 practice papers, and I basically left it too late, so I think I got through only like 5, but I also did some online theory tests, and yeah, just practicing questions. Like you can see the ones that come up all the time, and you get like speedy, you can be like, yeah, I know that, I know that. If, like me, you're attempting to learn your theory really quickly, make sure that you do spend quite a few hours each day in the lead up. I don't know how many hours I spent, but it was quite a few. Especially yesterday, I was just feeling so like cram, paranoid. Common things to watch out for. In hazard perception, in the real test, they actually give you like 10-second countdown before the clip starts playing. And in those 10 seconds, don't just sit there and be like, oh amazing, I'm gonna wait for this clip to play, whatever. Just start looking. You can see it like blurred. You can kind of see what the situation is. So if you can make out a sign, just use your signs, okay? So there was a sign in one of my clips which said elderly people like might be crossing, and then about 2 seconds later I was approaching a zebra crossing and some elderly people were crossing, and that was the hazard of that clip. So definitely use your road signs. Be aware of the weather conditions. I'm really poor at like recognizing that, but in one clip that I had in my test, it was really wet and there was a massive puddle on one side which a car had to like swerve around, and I literally didn't even clock it for ages. So yeah, make sure you recognise the weather. Be really aware of who's on the pavement, what they're doing. If they turn their head, it looks like they're going to cross, click. Be really aware of people signalling in front of you, signalling to the side of you, like just indicating. And yeah, I guess it's just practice. I really wasn't sure if I was going to pass today, and if you failed before, it's fine, don't worry. I mean, if I failed, I would have just been like, oh okay, well I did my best. I do think it is practice, and I do think there is a technique to it, and I also do think that it's not worth learning it too much in advance, because I know that the stuff I've learned today is very short-term memory, and maybe in a month I'm not gonna know half the things that I do know now, but I passed the test. So yeah, just make sure that in the few days running up to it, you're super on it with your revision. Anyway, I hope this helped in some way. And if you've got your test coming up, good luck. I'm sure you'll do well. If this helped you out in some way, feel free to click that little thumbs up. I've got a driving lesson today, so can't wait to tell my instructor, but yeah. Anyway, bye guys.